Welcome to Pody Mouths. Today, in tradition with our Halloween theme we've got going on for the month of October, there's nothing scarier than death. And there's nothing scarier than everybody dying at once. So today we're going to be covering the end of the world. Common ways that people think the world can end, our thoughts on it, some information about it, and maybe at the end we'll throw in some of our favorite end of the world, doomsday, Armageddon style movies. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Bert. Brad.
And we're going to get into our topics now. So I was looking at the research on this, and I gotta say, anytime you look up pictures of an asteroid impact, and I'm talking like big asteroids, you're just like, goodbye Earth. It's fucking over. We're all fucking dead. And I was looking into the science of it, and researchers said that if an asteroid actually impacts Earth, there'll be 7 effects. The heat, the pressure shock wave, flying debris, of course, tsunamis, wind blasts, seismic shaking, and cratering. But they figured out which ones would be the deadliest, and it's not like the heat and everything that you'd think from the fallout after an impact. It's actually the 1,000 mile per hour winds and the pressure shock wave. So they said that the pressure shock wave would spike in atmospheric pressure, and it would rupture internal organs. Like, as soon as it hit you, your internal organs would just explode.
Nice. I imagine, too, like, if... Remember Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2 where she's holding the chain link
and
fence,
like all that,
and
just
all that pressure came like ripped her skin off her.
Yeah,
I imagine 1,000 mile an hour winds would do that.
It says,
too,
and the wind blast would hurl human bodies and flatten forests. And the researchers have somehow proven that the winds and the pressure blast would be what kills 60% of the population in that general area. So if it's 100% global, 60% of people will be killed just from the winds and the pressure shock wave.
Wow.
So that's nice.
That's
and
massive.
The rest would be like pretty much nuclear winter and heat and everything boiling and the sterilization of planet fucking Earth.
Yeah, I figured it would be the fallout that, like, the nuclear winter.
I thought so too. I thought most of us would be like, because they say that everybody thinks that a nuclear detonation is endgame, but most people would survive except for in the general area. So you would think kind of an impact from an asteroid. There's not even any radiation or anything. It would be the fallout, but no, 1,000 mile winds.
Wow.
And goodbye.
Yeah, it's killer.
Yeah,
over.
I mean, it'd be quick. It'd be fucking quick.
Yeah, I'd rather it be quick. Just get it done with.
I don't know how quick it'd be. I mean, the death, once the impact happened, that'd be like instantaneous. But with the technology we have today, if somebody was looking at this guy, we got 5 years before this guy hits, so prepare.
Yeah.
So you got 5 years of waiting for it to happen.
But let's think about the government here. What movie is it that they didn't want to tell everybody about it and they covered
Deep
it
Impact.
up? Deep Impact. The movie Deep Impact. They knew it was coming, and this whole time they were like, if we tell people ahead of time, it's going to be fucking nuts.
It would, too. I mean,
so I think they'd hide it from us and then be like, y'all got 24 hours to make love, baby.
They probably would. Can you imagine, knowing 5 years ahead of time when you're going to die?
Well, see, here's the thing. Personally,
I guess that happens to a lot of people.
I would want to know, because I would want to be able to spend time with my family and do things. But
forget about a bunch of loans and buy all the stuff I want.
But
I'll pay you back in 5 years.
But then again, on the flip side, if the government tells people, then they're going to be fuckholes, and there's going to be murders and rapes and fucking all this other shit.
Like,
and they're going to ruin my fucking ultimate high-dollar trip to fucking Disney World and shit. And, so I guess that, I don't know, give me 24 hours, make sure all my family's together. That's kind of all I need. And then, just everybody don't be dicks. No murder and raping. Jesus. Let us enjoy our last 24 hours on Earth.
Yeah, I guess there's not a lot you could get done murder, rape-wise. Well, I guess 24 hours, you probably just want to chill with your people, right?
I wonder how many people are going to be still in TVs.
Yeah, because, I mean, what are you going to do?
People would still loot.
They probably would.
People still loot.
I'm wearing these next week. This is a pair of Jordans I stole from Foot Locker.
Well, and then you're going to have
next week, buddy.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have those people that just don't get it, and they're going to be looting shit and headed to subway tunnels and stuff. The science behind this, there is no bunker deep enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
for a global killer, there's not. Now, certain asteroids, like, it all depends on size. Like I said, one size of Texas versus one's the size of semis or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
If you got a Honda Civic style asteroid hits over in fucking Europe, we might be okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay. I mean, they're saying the one that hit in Arizona, is that crater in northern Arizona, I think they said it was the size of a small, like, baseball diamond.
Oh,
so that's pretty good size. And that crater is huge. And they said it definitely threw up debris and everything else. And everything probably within a 10, 50-mile radius of that probably got killed. But the rest of the world still moved on and everything else. So, like I said, you talk about global killer, you're talking about things that are like the size of Texas, size of like a quarter of the moon. I mean, even something the size of a battleship. Yeah, it's going to be disaster like crazy. It's going to be like Mount St. Helens or Katrina. But it's not going to destroy all life on Earth. It's going to kill a lot of people, and it's going to cause a lot of things that we'll have to deal with for several years. I mean, the Filipino volcano that went off a couple of years ago, it raised the temperature of the planet's temperature by like a degree. So that's just a volcano that was nowhere near us, but it did do that. So a asteroid or something of a certain size would affect us, but it wouldn't kill everybody. But in this regard, the whole apocalypse, these are huge asteroids. They have to be massive. Like the one in Armageddon would totally be big.
Yeah, that's an endgame situation.
Yes, absolutely.
The asteroid and Armageddon. So the next one is gamma ray bursts. This one ranks up high, and I'm not going to lie. I didn't write down much about gamma ray bursts because the science behind this shit is way over my head. But basically, the ozone fails and we all die from extreme radiation.
Oh, yeah.
Which would suck ass.
Which that could be caused by a solar flare from our sun and everything else, and there's no way to predict it. And it's just bad news.
Yeah, so we really don't want that to happen because I've seen pictures of radiation poisoning. That shit ain't pretty.
There's actually a solar flare feed on Twitter that kind of makes announcements when they have little bursts from the sun. Yeah.
Oh, you should have told me that. It's going to be like Armageddon around here every day.
Oh, they happen all the time. It's just,
It's just some aren't in our direction.
Yeah.
And some are so small. But they will mess up. There was I think it was 2 years ago, there was this big cell phone interruption. It was because of a solar flare.
Oh my God, I think I blame Cincinnati Bell for that. Oh shit.
They lost your business on that, didn't they?
Yeah, I called them what the fuck, I'm
You
out of here.
can't stop these solar flares, I'm done with you.
Well, I didn't know. Now I'm going to have to call and apologize.
That'd be alright.
So another one is global warming. Anybody believe in that?
I
know
do.
I know there's people that don't.
Probably you guys. I'm the tree hugger here.
No, I mean, you're not the only tree hugger. I believe in it. I just don't believe it. They're like, tomorrow, we're all fucking dead. I think it'll be generations and generations and generations.
Oh, well, I think we get taken out before 2 generations. I don't know, but that's, population control, fucking resources. But
my only argument with global warming is 40 years ago it was global cooling. 40 years ago, these same scientists who are saying global warming now, who were of age then, were saying, we got to do something to keep this planet cool. And they were wanting to put all this greenhouse gas in there. And now they're saying, no, it's global warming. I believe there's climate change. Do I think humans are responsible? Absolutely. We have some sort of effect.
If there's anything wrong with this planet at all, ever, it's our fucking fault.
I won't say anything ever, but I will say that we have an effect on it. But we are a very small part of this global history. And if you go back to Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth, he's talking about those ice cores. They went back and said, for 1 million years, it's been this temperature. Now it's rising. What about the ice that's over 1 million years old? Oh, there wasn't any. Oh, so you mean the planet was too warm for ice? And that's when most the climatologists, they kind of go silent because it's 1 million years ago, we weren't here. There wasn't ice. Yeah, it was warm back then. Huh. Does that mean it's a cycle? Because, Earth's 4.5 billion years old? So every 1 million years we get warm? We don't know. Do we have something to do with it? I absolutely believe that.
So,
but I don't think we're the only ones.
Whenever the planet gets its period. we're all dead.
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
Earth's PMS. Absolutely. It could
Global
totally be
PMS. I can dig it.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess it was like tropical weather back when the dinosaurs, you know, so it was warmer. Earth was warmer back then. Then you had the Ice Age. So, yeah, I guess you go through those periods, but we're just ramping it up.
I don't disagree that we don't have an impact. We absolutely have an impact.
We definitely have an impact.
But a lot of these scientists make it sound like it's only our fault. I'm like, I'd have to disagree. I
mean, things are going to shift, but
Mm-hmm.
they're going to shift in a more detrimental way because of our impact on the planet. And I just watched a video the other day where this, like, freaking 20-year-old kid has figured out a way to get plastic out of the ocean.
Oh, I saw that as well.
Respect.
That's tight. Yes.
Respect,
Mass
man.
respect.
Oh, man. Well, why can't, like, the government could do anything. Any program, anything to help this shit. But all this mass production of bullshit gets them paid.
So which government?
Ours. All of them. The planet.
All of them, I agree. But
anybody
that's the thing.
making
Everybody
money?
feels like it's our responsibility, but this is a giant plastic island in the Southern Pacific Ocean. Is it some of it us? Absolutely. But China's just as guilty. Australia's just as guilty. All these other, and they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
No, they don't
This
give a
needs to be
damn.
a global initiative.
Yeah,
we can't
it
just
would
say
have to
one
be.
government should be. And this is why I love where somebody individually takes it on. Like this kid, he gets the backers and everything. Let it be a personal vendetta and to show, hey, you know what? We don't need a freaking government to tell us we're going to clean stuff up because we can do it on our own. I think that's absolutely great. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it would have to be. When I say government, I mean governments.
And the one thing I think would be really cool if they analyze what kind of plastics are in there. Do they all have Coke wrappers? Are they all water bottles? Are they all Pepsi? You know what I mean? I mean, not saying we blame that company, but then you're like, hey, look, maybe you should find a way to produce plastic that, I don't know, biodegradable plastic. Or
like, hey,
That would be
Coca-Cola,
wonderful.
out of all the shit we pulled out of the ocean, like this % of it was yours. If you come at us and you figure out a way to like cut a certain amount of fucking plastic production, we'll cut you off on some taxes.
That's a great incentive. Yeah.
But even though it could be done, they're never going to do it. So we just need to keep pumping out these 20-year-olds are like, I'll do it, I'll fix it.
Yeah, just make the youth more aware of what's going on with the environment, and maybe they'll give a shit.
You mean instead of taking all their fucking cardboard and their plastic and stuff and their pollution to rallies, they could actually like fucking recycle or do something productive? Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be great. Wouldn't it be great? I'll do it.
Cool.
I'll go.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying we blame the companies because, I mean, they're producing a product, us as consumers, and I mean everybody, not just us at this table or anything. We're the ones consuming it. We're not asking for them to change things. And when people have asked, things have changed. So, in this case, we could say, like I said, where's this plastic coming from? And it'd be really hysterical if everybody, it was like 90% water bottles. Because most of the people that are all trying to be healthy and, you know, I'm drinking water because Pop's got a carbon imprint, blah, blah, blah. Well, your plastic water bottles there in the Pacific. So, still an evil there, folks. Sorry.
Even I have, I don't buy bottled water anymore.
Nope.
We've got a filter on our sink, and I have a couple of water bottles that I refill every day.
That's what I do. Yep.
But here's the thing. Have you been in the water bottle fucking aisle at Meijer and Walmart and everywhere else?
There's like thousands
There's
of them.
too many. Why? I mean, I want a new Harry Potter one. I'm not going to lie. But there's
New Harry Potter water.
And, a water bottle.
Oh.
They just came out with all new Harry
I
Potter.
don't mean those water bottles. I mean the disposable ones.
No, I'm just saying, even though people now buy regular water bottles that they can refill to cut down.
Reusables. There's just so many.
There's so many. Like, everybody's like, I got to get a new one. It's still waste. They still need to go to these companies and be like, look, I know you got new Harry Potter ones, but maybe this year just put out Hogwarts and Slytherin and leave Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw for the previous years. Just cut it down a little bit. And they need to start making those bottles that'll fit in my narrow fucking cup holders. Just saying. So, the next one is a biotech disaster. So, we all know that including governments not regulating waste, they're also developing shit that can kill us.
Oh, yeah.
Every single day. And then we're one security breach away from getting some weird Ebola Black Plague fucking hybrid spread around the entire planet.
Don't they still like have that existing somewhere in like a lab?
Yeah,
like
and
they
they-
haven't
In
destroyed
Atlanta,
it?
Georgia, the CDC, so
Oh, is that
disease
where it's-
control, they have one of 2 existing samples of like smallpox. I think Ebola still can be found in Africa. And
Oh yeah,
certain
Ebola and
regions.
Zika are still huge.
Yeah, but like smallpox is the one we eradicate with vaccinations. It's absolutely gone. There are 2 known samples left. We have one in Atlanta. The Russians have one in Moscow.
Great.
People are like, why don't you destroy them? Well, these scientists, they're like, we want to modify and genetically engineer it because we want to find ways to cure other diseases with it. So it may be with good cause. They're trying to find a way to help with other diseases, and that's why they need these strands. But to your point, what are they doing to it? Are they making it like a super strand and it's going to get out? I mean, there's always that fear, but without risk, there is no reward. That's what a lot of people are going to tell you.
But also, too...
And it's just, that's what they're looking at.
You're taking an ancient disease, essentially, in terms of the medical community.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put it into a modern society, it's going to mutate. And then you didn't have the fucking vaccine for that, and now you got to come up with a new one before the entire planet dies.
That's their exact argument. Well, if we get rid of it, then we can't have something here that we can develop and say, hey, this was the root of it before it mutated. Knowing this, the advances we've made over these last decades, we've been able to create the super cure for that. So the movie Outbreak, for example, remember the whatever kind of monkey that was?
Capuchin.
Thank you. Getting everybody sick. They had the orange juice, as Morgan Freeman called it, they were giving everybody, and it was a cure, but it was for the original strand. It wasn't for the new mutated strand. So if they didn't even have that, even though it was their fault, it wasn't their fault in this case, because the monkey brought it from wherever it came from.
Yeah, but it was their development.
Yeah, it was their, well, no, the disease was. It was naturally occurring. It was naturally occurring in the movie. They were just playing with it. It was like the hantavirus.
No, they had
the
cure.
Yeah, they had a cure. So that gave them the basis of where they could start to develop the new cure for the new mutated strand. If they were to destroy that original strand, then they wouldn't have had that.
Okay,
So there is a reason. It sucks. I get it. People are very concerned about it. That's why I'm all about building a base on the moon. Be like, there, it's all on the moon. Build it there. That way it can't get out and get everybody else sick.
Or like just...
Quarantine it very well. How do you do that? In space.
Yeah, let's launch it into space and just let it hover.
No, on the moon.
Okay, yeah, because if it crashes...
Because the moon's moving away from Earth, so at least we know it's not going to come clashing toward us. So.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And if something gets out, it's going to burn up in the atmosphere. So.
Or deep in the ocean.
So we can kill all the whales?
We're not
Whale
killing
killer?
whales.
Whale killer?
God.
Hey, they can do it on the island of plastic in the Pacific Ocean.
They put, like, these bubbles down in the open,
Yeah.
in the ocean, so they could practice being on the moon.
Did you not watch that episode of Archer where the bullet went off and the whole thing collapsed?
Look.
Okay, no, the moon. The moon. There's one risk when the rocket goes up, but usually when the rockets blow up and when they don't make it, I mean, like Brad said, everything burns up, so less likely to be an issue.
All right.
The moon.
Ignore
The
my
moon.
ideas. The
No,
moon.
I don't want it on the planet. I mean, I disagree with it being on the planet, but they need the stuff. Let them have it on the moon. That way, those 30 scientists, they get sick, we just stop hearing from them. Like, all right, send a new group
and when
in.
some country gets fucking pissed off, they're like, how are we going to get to the moon to get this shit? Instead of, let's go to Atlanta, break in, and steal fucking the
Correct.
Black Plague.
Because you're waiting, let's just put some scuba gear on.
That's a lot harder than you think it is. Pookie bitch.
Hard to get to the moon.
Pookie
We've
bitch.
only done it a few times.
Don't test me, or
All right,
I'll
11,
Armageddon this whole
12,
house.
14, 15, 16, 17, right? Only 6 man trips to the moon. I think that's right. Somebody check me on that.
I'll agree with you.
I thought
For
Apollo
now.
17 was the last one to go on the moon, so I could be wrong. But not as many people have been on the moon that have gone underwater.
I'm deep, 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 deep.
The Navy has submarines that go deep, 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 deep. The Russians have submarines that go deep, 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 deep. There's a lot more people been to the bottom of the ocean than there have been on the moon. So
Whatever.
The moon's a safe place.
Whatever.
All right. What's next?
Global war.
Global war.
Yeah. So if they're not using biologically engineered weapons, we're talking
nuclear weapons.
We're talking nukes.
Always a concern.
I mean, it's freaky. What would just happen recently? That thing in Hawaii where everybody's cell phones went off?
The missile alert and everybody.
The missile alert.
Ballistic
in Hawaii?
missile detection
I
system.
would shit myself.
Which planet has the balls to do it first? Or which country has the balls?
I mean, I hope Mars ain't fucking with us, man.
So it's interesting.
I'm thinking of the moon. Sorry.
It's interesting because, I mean, the Cold War went on all the way up to the 90s after the World War II. When the Soviets got nuclear weapons, that's where America ramped up its nuclear weapon development and building its arms. Russia did the exact same thing. So here both countries were just building and building and building. And they built so many nuclear weapons that they could have destroyed the world like 1,000 times over. And I can't remember who was asked, but somebody was asked why they did this. And they said something about the MAD theory, and I can't exactly remember what MAD's abbreviation was supposed to be. It wasn't Mothers Against Drunk Driving. But the concept is, we have just as much firepower that they do. So if they go to launch to kill us, we'll launch and kill them, and so everybody dies. They don't want to die, so they won't launch to kill us. We don't want to die, so we won't launch to kill them. I mean, War Games, perfect example of that movie with Matthew Broderick. The whole idea, they're launching everything they have at us. No, they're not going to do that because the risk is too great. So nuclear war in that sense is unlikely unless you get some crazy person who doesn't care. What you got to worry about stuff like dirty bombs and stuff like that these terrorists can get a hold of and go and just take out one city, and they have no country affiliation because they did it of their own reconnaissance. That's what's scary when it comes to nuclear stuff.
I don't know. For me, it's like you just get a crazed group that's like, fuck it, I think we should all die. And then we're all in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but luckily, not all those people have access to nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but they can break into shit. Didn't you watch Salt?
Yeah, I watched Salt. Yeah, the Russian agents. Yeah, I did. But Putin likes having power. Putin likes having power. He don't want to die yet. He don't want to die. He's like, I'm good. It's those other people who aren't anybody that want to be somebody. Because, I mean, be it a Muslim extremist or somebody from, I don't know, a cult or something, get a hold of a nuclear weapon.
The anti-Trump people?
They become a martyr if they do that. Those are the ones you really got to worry about.
So, like, let's just get rid of nuclear weapons. Because people.
How you going to get rid of them? What are you going to put on them?
The moon.
See, when that one blows up going to the moon, that way may be more of an issue. Because then the fallout goes everywhere. Then,
I'm sorry.
In the process of trying to eliminate the apocalyptic ending, you create the apocalyptic ending.
Should the society that can't necessarily always put something on the moon even develop nuclear weapons? Like, this shit could blow up. We don't know. Like, but we're in charge of nuclear weapons.
Well, we invented a gun. We can shoot people. So now we're going to invent a way to make the bullet not be in there and protect them.
No, I'm just
Instant
saying.
surgery or something.
Should we be putting anything into space?
Same concept, though. Same concept. You do
if all of our shit blows up.
You do one item, and how do you develop the other? How do you develop the countermeasure? And us as a race, the human race, has never always been able to develop that countermeasure. It'd be great if we did, but then when you come up with the countermeasure, well, hell, the other thing we just came up with is ineffective. So, out.
God, you stomp on all my fucking dreams.
Not your dreams, just your ideas.
This is going to end in divorce.
All right, what's next? Nuclear disaster, and then we talk. What's the next one?
The super volcano.
Yellowstone.
Dude, so Yellowstone is one of my favorite things. Why? Because out of all of the weird bullshit that could possibly happen, that would be like a detriment to this planet.
It's a legit possibility.
I gotta go with Yellowstone. Anytime somebody's like, oh, but what if this happened? I'm like, fuck that. You need to think about Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And I was just reading today, they posted an article. She was a rocking and rolling again, man. And these scientists keep fucking saying, nope, no increased volcanic activity. No increase. I'm like, till when?
Just so you folks know, Yellowstone National Park is pretty much the largest volcano in North America. It's just been dormant for thousands and thousands of years.
And they know she gonna blow at some point.
Just don't know when. It could be today. Could be 500 years from now. We don't know. But that one's, and that doesn't just affect the U.S., since it's here. It affects everybody. I mean, the amount of cloud ash you can put up in the clouds and everything, that could drop the temperature and solve the global warming problem. But also solve the sun problem, too. Because, like, oh, I don't like the sun. Oh, look, it's a nice dark day again. I mean, that's a lot of dust and ash you can throw up in the air.
So in 1816, when Mount Tambora went, it caused what they called a year without summer. because all that ash that falls down, well, first of all, it destroys all the food.
Is Mount Tambora in Yellowstone?
No.
Okay, where's this located?
You know what? I don't remember. Do you remember where Mount Tambora is?
Look it up.
Oh, god damn it.
I know when Mount St. Helens went in the 80s, I mean, that was traumatic for, like, northwest U.S., you know? I mean, people saw it from hundreds of miles around. I mean, yeah, there was people that died that were near the volcano. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure they said there was some weather shifts as a result of it and that sort of thing. Like I said, the one that went off in the Philippines or down toward the... there in Indonesia, that was quite a few years back, and I'm pretty sure it dropped the temperature of the globe by 1 degree that year.
Oh, really?
And that wasn't even like the biggest volcano that we've ever recorded since we've started the history of recording the volcanoes. So
Indonesia.
So yep. So it's all part of the Ring of Fire then. So
Yeah, Mount Tambora is in Indonesia.
And this was 1816, and
Yeah.
there was a summer, or a year
a
without
year
summer.
without summer.
Wow.
In Indonesia because of this thing. And it wasn't even like that crazy, but Yellowstone is like, oh man.
I think they said Yellowstone, if it went and became the super volcano, it could be like 10,000 Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and like I said, and then so when it explodes, it sets off this giant cloud of proclastic debris, and then all that ash comes down. And I'm talking, like, people can't just drive away from this thing because it clogs filters and fucks up cars. And not to mention that, but even if you tried to walk away from it, when you breathe in the ash, it gets into your lungs, and there's moisture in your lungs, and it causes your lungs to fill up with, like, concrete.
Yeah, to solidify.
And then you fucking die of septicemia.
Sweet.
So, yeah, fucking super volcanoes, right?
Is there a name for this volcano that's sitting there in Yellowstone? Or
Just call it Yellowstone super volcano.
Yeah, but what's the C word you used earlier?
Oh, the
Caldera.
Caldera?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
the
call it
caldera is the
Yellowstone Caldera.
mouth.
Yeah.
No. A caldera is the mouth of any volcano.
Yeah, I thought they called it Yellowstone Caldera, though. That's why I thought
No,
they
it
called
just has a huge caldera.
Okay.
Sounds like a Godzilla creature.
It kind of does, but every year somebody falls into this fucking thing.
Really?
Once a year, somebody's like, I'm gonna look in this fucking thing. And they get to the mouth of the volcano, which is called the caldera, and they fucking fall in, and they're like, it's a slow, horrible fucking death where the acid just dissolves you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm peeking in there.
Hey, at least in Joe versus the volcano, I mean, Tom Hanks came out of it pretty okay. So.
I mean, yeah, he did. He did a pretty good job.
Not real life, folks. Just a movie.
90% of our science is from us Googling shit for movies. Is that real?
Are you guys disappointed quite a bit?
Yes. Actually, you know what? It's the stuff. It's usually the stuff I'm like, that's got to be real. And I Google it and it's not. But when I'm like, that's got to be bullshit. And then I look it up and it's real, that makes up for every time a movie has disappointed me with
you
their
got
science.
any like examples off the top of your head?
Oh, man. Oh, well, zombie fucking apocalypses. They've got 5 good fucking reasons why a zombie apocalypse is scientifically probable.
How was that?
I mean, if you want to, we can explain later when we get to zombie apocalypses.
Okay, yeah, we'll wait for that one.
All I know is you watch these movies and you wonder if stuff's real or not. And I don't know who's come up with this stuff, but some of the stuff that they come up with is like, man, that'd be amazing if something like that existed. And they get a little bit off topic, like CSI. There's like the DNA database. You know, let's put so-and-so's DNA in. Like 15 minutes later, they know who the killer was. That doesn't exist like that.
No.
So whoever that brainchild was that wrote that in the script, they should be getting with him and the best minds in the country and the world. Like, let's make this happen, because that would solve so many murders and crimes and everything else. So you take that to the level of somebody's like, oh, we could make cold fusion work to stop a volcano from exploding or something. Great. All right, greatest minds. Let's get to figure, how do you make cold fusion work? And have people work on that instead of finding out why my toast always lands jelly side down, or which ketchup comes out of the bottle faster. There are much better ways to spend my tax dollars.
But
DNA
also,
stuff,
too,
cold fusion.
I now want to know which ketchup comes out of the bottle faster.
I believe it was Hunt's.
Really? Now I gotta look that shit up. Thanks for putting that in my brain. Anyway.
Jelly falls first on the toast because the normal table height isn't high enough to allow the toast to do a full rotation. They spent a lot of money on that, by the way.
Jesus Christ. Oh, they would, wouldn't they?
They did.
We might have to do a topic on stupid shit our government has spent money on to figure out, why jelly always falls down on the floor.
Yep. All right, next disaster thing.
AI, the robots take over. So, robotics is awesome. It's AI that's fucking scary.
Elon Musk's biggest fear, right?
Right?
He's like, AI is gonna... don't let it be a thing like that.
Look, again, this goes back to, the biotech disaster, where they know some of the shit that they're creating could destroy all of mankind. Why are we getting this hardcore into fucking robots?
Because it's supposed to make our lives easier.
Why do especially coming from a country where one of the top causes of death, which is, heart attacks and stuff, pulmonary disease and whatnot, is grossly because of obesity. Why do we need fucking shit to do things for us?
Well, we're lazy, and we don't want to ever put ourselves in danger. So look at Chappie, right? Was that the robot movie?
Yeah. Chappie was... I actually liked it.
They were robot cops. Put them in a riot. Can't kill a robot. They're not a person. So they'll go into not risk worrying about the fear. The new RoboCop, same example. Remember, if his human instincts kicked in, he wasn't as effective. But as soon as they made him more machine, he was able to do things at a faster rate because he wasn't thinking of the countermeasures to it. That's why they want it, because they don't want you to... I don't know. Let's say there's 3 kids in a fire. Firemen, they're super brave. They're going to go in there, but even the bravest person still may hesitate jumping through a wall of flames. And those guys do an absolutely great job. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. But a robot, you tell it, hey, go in there and get those 3 kids. It's not going to think. It's just going to go in there, grab those 3 kids, and get out.
Yeah, but then if all of our fucking science is going to be based off movies. Remember in iRobot, when Will Smith fucking hates robots because it chose between
him and the
girl, and he picked him because in his robot fucking mind,
the probability of his survival was higher than the girl's.
Any person would know to go after the fucking kid. I'm sorry. I would let Will Smith die.
But here's the thing: you got to think about that situation there. If you would have went after the girl's chances were lower, and the girl and Will Smith could have died. So the robot's thought was that the probability of Will Smith being hired to be able to save, at least I'll save one of the 2 people instead of losing both, trying to save just one.
Right.
Greater good stuff.
I get it, but also too.
I totally get the argument.
The babies.
I totally get the argument and everything else, but that's why people want the idea of AI and the use of machines, because they can calculate that kind of stuff, and at least in movies they can. We hope they'll be able to in our future.
But let's think about what we as humans have actually done with AI.
I get spammed a lot in my email.
Uh-huh.
The bots, man. I say, I'm going to buy this from Home Depot. Next thing I know, every ad I see is for friggin' Home Depot. It's like, how does Facebook know? That's all AI right there.
I just want to know what an impact on your lives, Brad and Bert. Would you be willing to take a national risk for human lives to create AI for? Like, AI in a robot. What part of your lives needs to be fucking taken care of? Needs to be taken care of by robots.
They can wipe my ass.
I'll give you a robot hand. Brad?
I don't know.
Think about it. They're trying. What's the big thing right now? Uber, Lyft, automated cars. That's AI.
A car?
So now you're putting your life in
I'm talking about
control.
Putting it in robots. You want to talk about a car that
AI is beyond just robots.
Positioning?
I'm not even worried about it. Skynet and Terminator wasn't even a robot. That was a computer system that controlled robots.
Have you seen the Google driverless car? That's not going to do anything to you if, like, the fucking computers are like, send it after the people.
It'd be like, hey, you got people in your car, drive off the next cliff. So everybody in an Uber car that's an automated car all drive off a cliff. How many people use Uber every day? Think about that. AI is beyond
I'm talking about the
robots.
driverless cars.
I'm talking that too.
Yeah, there's not that many right now.
Not now, but in the future, there's going to be. This is what the point. They're eliminating these people from these roles. So if that autonomous car is out there, and AI becomes self-aware, and that's what we really need to think about. It's not just the idea of AI. The idea of AI is kind of scary. The idea of AI becomes self-aware and feels humans as a threat.
Again.
That's what we have to worry about here. So AI in itself isn't a bad idea. It's just the consequences if it does go bad is what we got to worry about. And they go self-aware in all these movies. Like I said, it's all movie science. But AI is like, wait a minute, mankind's a detriment to themselves. So to follow the 3 laws, which are the 3 laws of robots, so you can't hurt a human. Oh God, I can't remember them all. You're going to have to look this up. We're going to have to post it on the thing. But can't hurt a human. But like an iRobot, Vicky, I think was the AI's name, her thought was, I may have to hurt humans to save humankind. So she rewrote the laws to fit something that made sense to her. And honestly, it makes absolute sense. It's just not the answer we want to go for. I mean, it's like you have somebody that's completely ill and you know they're going to die. You have 2 years to live. But you throw families and companies or whatever, they throw all this money because they love this person and they don't want them to die, and they just keep throwing stuff. No matter what they do, this person's going to die. Where a robot's going to be like, yep, you're going to die. Go ahead and kill them anyway. Done. Look at all the money we just saved you. Look at all the heartache and headache. You don't have to worry about it happening in 2 years. You just died now. You're done. There's no heart there. And that's what you have to think about with AI, because it's going to do it based off a mathematical calculation. And there's a lot of people think that's the only way to do it.
Like fucking Thanos.
So just think about it that way. But yeah, AI doesn't have to just be a robot. It can be anything that's controlled that's out of a person's control. And that's the scary part.
The 3 laws of robotics.
Yeah.
A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to be harmed.
Yep.
A robot must obey orders given by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. Which means you can't tell your fucking robot to go kill somebody.
Yep.
And a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second law.
And that's where Skynet kicked in. But Skynet's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and break laws 1 and 2. And like I said, Skynet was a robot. Skynet just controlled a bunch of robots. We talk about AI. AI is going to be software-based. I mean, back when the robots were first came up with, turn of the century and everything, as a part of fiction, and we actually started developing them, it was always believed to be hardware. But our world is ran off software now. I'm not afraid of a computer sitting there that's going to do anything. But a computer now there with the right software can steal my identity, charge up all my credit cards, and schedule me for cremation before I'm even dead. Think about that. It's all going to be software. So
look, if some computer accidentally gets it wrong and I show up dead, I'm going off grid. Fuck this planet. I'm starting over. All right, so this next one I didn't even know about. It's called mass insanity. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, how is this even a thing? So I started reading into it. So the World Health Organization estimates that about 500 million people on this planet right now suffer from some sort of psychological disorder. They also estimate that by 2020, depression will be the second leading cause of death. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Makes me worry.
So, with, medical science and shit, the increased lifespan actually makes this worse because the age group most likely to commit suicide is ages 85 or 65 plus.
Senior citizens who may be resulting from Alzheimer's or dementia or that sort of thing, which is some scary, scary stuff.
And also because long-term studies have never been done on depression medications like Prozac and Zoloft, they have no idea what the long-term effects are. So let's say there's a 15-year-old right now on Prozac. The longer he's on Prozac, he's the case study.
Yep, that's how most drugs go to market.
Because
they don't have time to wait for decades for the final research.
Prozac hit the market in 1987 and Zoloft hit in 1991. They're only that old. So as people live naturally to be 100, 120, 150, these medications may not work, in which case eventually depression will become the number one killer of human beings. And that's fucking crazy. That is mass insanity. I thought that was pretty, ominous as shit.
So people who have mental disorders are more likely the norm. So they're over 50% probably now. Mm-hmm. So all the ones that are perfectly okay are the freaks now.
Yep.
That's a hell of a turn.
If you are not on some sort of mood-altering medication, you are the minority at this point.
All right. Minority status.
Minority. Hey! Do I get to put that on my tax information?
No, I don't think it works that way.
Anyway, so, the big one. Alien invasion. Aliens coming down to kill us. Do you think it could happen?
Yeah, I do. I believe there's extraterrestrial life out there. What the aliens' intent will be, I don't know. Hopefully it's peaceful, but is there anything like us? Probably not, because we're a very violent race. But I don't think it'll be like they come down and their little pods come out with like laser rifles and start shooting us. I think they're advanced enough. They'll use one of these other apocalyptic things.
They'll shit out an asteroid out of their fucking
shit out an
mothership.
Asteroid, drop some genetically engineered chemical or biological agent out there just to wipe us out so we just all fall over. And we're like, all right, new world to colonize.
Brad?
Yeah, if they're going to come to planet Earth, they're going to fuck us up or they're going to help us. It's going to be one of the two.
See, I'm swayed on this one. It would be awesome if they were, like, totally cool.
Oh, absolutely.
But I feel like the chances of that are slim to fucking none. I feel like if something's coming out here and they see us, I think they're going to be like, look, let's just put them out of their misery like a limping dog on the side of the road.
Yeah, it could very well be. Like I said, it's something Hollywood hits very hard on while we talk about it here. But there are some that where there's I won't say it's an alien invasion, but it's us encountering aliens at a whole new level. Look at Alienation.
Yeah.
That's a group of alien slaves whose ship just ended up here at Earth. And we integrate into society. I'd love if we were able to do that. I think it'd be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it just showed that somebody who was a race that was in a very bad predicament, they're able to flourish here, and it was amazingly good. But then you have the exact opposite of that reaction happen in District 9. Kind of the same idea. You have this ship with aliens come in. The way I interpret it, they were slaves or workers for another alien race, but they're like, I don't know,
they
rejected
them
by
off
society. Yeah,
put them in these crappy ghettos, and no actual people wanted to deal with them.
And all this other stuff, fed them cat food or dog food, whatever it is. But I think a lot of that, and this is how we are as a society, were they called newcomers in Alienation?
Newcomers, yeah. You
have newcomers versus the prawns. The newcomers were very humanoid-like, where the prawns weren't. So here it is. They could have been a very equivalent alien race in all regards, but the newcomers were more familiar to us, so that's why we were more accepting. Where the prawns, they didn't look anything like us. They looked like something out of the animal kingdom, and they were treated the way they were.
Let's be honest about the human race. The only way that people as a whole is going to integrate aliens into our society is if they've got something to give us.
Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree with that.
Some medical breakthrough making us live longer, look younger, whatever.
And see, even though the newcomers were slaves, they had some technology that was beneficial.
Yeah, they did.
The prawns did too. It's just they were really swayed by cat food. Yeah,
they couldn't use it. Yep. Humans couldn't use their technology.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways you can look at it. Like Independence Day. They could come in just like that. Like I said, they could come in just like wipe us all out. Us not even know. That doesn't make a very good movie though. So
no, it doesn't.
They come and use us as their feed, like in V. They're like lizard people, and they have to eat people.
Like in the Matrix. They feed off people as batteries.
But that was V. They were like...
No, I was mentioning... You mentioned V. I was mentioning the Matrix.
But I'm just saying, like, we were the rats in V. What's another one? Another alien movie. There's one where vampires were aliens. I can't remember what it was called. It was like the Epoch or something. That was an 80s movie. But Transformers. Aliens that are robots.
Oh, man.
AI. I mean, let's just throw all of them together, you know? I mean, look how, in that movie, how people reacted. Some were awesome with it, others weren't, but it was all kept top secret and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what our reaction's going to be. And that's the scary thing. They may not even have to do anything. They just come in orbit and show themselves, and we just end up killing ourselves because we don't know what to do about the aliens. And they're up there like watching it like it's TV, like them stupid.
I just
people.
picture like 150 hillbillies running out into a field when this fucking thing enters orbit, and they all start screaming, "Kill it with fire!" and start shooting their fucking bazookas at it. That's how I picture it the first time aliens come to our planet. I could be wrong. But I think I'm right.
I think in the end, even with alien invasion and everything else, we are our own worst enemies.
Well, then let's talk about pandemics and engineered diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know, like, you don't hear much about HIV and AIDS anymore, but that's like a huge thing. They estimate that by 2025, 90 to 100 million people in Africa will have AIDS or HIV.
That is scary.
Right? And, like, nobody talks about it anymore. But numbers like this, I mean, everybody sees on their fucking Facebook feed every time, like, some fucking dog gets left and abandoned. But 90 to 100 million people by 2025 in Africa with HIV or AIDS?
Yeah, other than, like, Apple doing their, like, red iPhone every year for the AIDS fight in Africa, AIDS, HIV was not talked about a whole lot unless somebody brought up Magic Johnson or when Charlie Sheen got it.
Or Freddie Mercury.
And Freddie Mercury, yeah. And that only came more to light here recently because, like I said, everybody found like Charlie Sheen was HIV positive. I mean, everybody was talking about AIDS again. But there was like a window there where
it died off.
Spoke about.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, well, that AIDS thing's over. It's fucking not.
I mean, and they're still working on vaccines and everything else, and there's a lot of medicines that they can.
I mean,
people can take.
you can live a decent life.
You look at
now.
Magic Johnson. That man still looks amazing for what he does.
Yeah,
still super, involved. I mean, he got LeBron to the Lakers, right? I mean, I know that's a sore subject for you, buddy, but I mean, the medicine's there. Now, don't get me wrong. I heard it's super expensive. I heard the medication is outrageous. But there is development there. We're trying to fix that problem. But 100 million people. I mean, if it's expensive, it is just for the people that I know.
And we're talking Africa. How many people in Africa have fucking medical insurance?
They don't even have water in most of those villages.
That's why there's 100 million people with AIDS down there. There's no education, no healthcare.
Plus, it's one of the countries on this entire planet that has like the highest fucking rape rate.
Yep.
Like, it's fucking insane. But then there's like cholera. There was like 6 outbreaks of cholera. I mean, cholera's gone now. But if it came back, holy shit, that's a big killer into the hundreds of thousands.
Wasn't that like from drinking filthy water or some shit?
I think so. Some of these were bugs, rats, filth. In general, some of these were just bodily functions. Like, you could get it. I mean, thank God, like, fucking AIDS isn't airborne.
Yeah, really.
But a lot of this should be nature's natural way of population reduction. You brought it up, overpopulation. Mm-hmm. Look at the bubonic plague.
Yeah.
In the Dark Ages. Well, where would our society be if that would have happened?
Well, influenza.
Yeah, the Spanish influenza, 1917.
You want to talk about population control. When influenza first became popular, it was first recorded in 1580.
I don't think it's ever been popular.
Okay. All right. When people started realizing that this thing was reoccurring and it was fucking people up, it was in 1580. Back then, the flu outbreak was only reoccurring every 10 to 30 fucking years. Now we have to get flu shots
every year.
Once a fucking year.
I hear these flu strains are mutating too to combat the vaccine.
Yes, and every year it's different.
Again, every year they put one out. They got to change, and it's a guessing game. They have no idea when they roll out with these vaccinations what sort of flu that's actually going to be combating. It's a numbers game, man, and the flu is huge now.
Do you guys get your flu vaccine?
I didn't used to, but we do now. I got 2 kids in school, and these little fuckers keep touching each other.
I've never had one, ever.
His 3rd day of kindergarten, we all had runny, shitty, snotty noses.
Really?
Yeah, I get one now. I didn't used to because I was like, I don't know, it's the adage or whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And I got it one year, and I was a little queasy after getting it for the first couple of days. But after that, when everybody else got sick around me, I didn't get sick. I'm like, you know what? It's worth that $5 thing not to be home 3 days puking my guts up or feeling like I'm on death's bed.
It wasn't until last year that I got nervous. Once I start seeing kids in the hospital and then they're like, oh, little so-and-so's died. I'm like, family, flu shots.
Do they make it like mandatory to get? Well, I guess you can't make it mandatory.
Well, no, in some businesses, the flu shot is mandatory.
Yeah, if you're a nurse or something and you're dealing with like it all day long, they kind of make mandatory.
Well, what about for like your guys' kids being in school and shit? Like,
no, the flu shot isn't mandatory.
Okay.
Nope,
Now,
it's just standard vaccinations for everything else.
and these
polio
people that
or
are
whatever.
anti-vaccination, somebody gives my fucking kids something that doesn't need,
those people
like,
are fucking idiots.
whooping fucking cough. And I mean, just look up a video. Look up a fucking video of diphtheria and whooping cough. See if you want your fucking kid to go through that.
The mumps, the measles, all that
That
stuff.
shit.
So bad.
Typhus. Fuck.
What causes autism?
Yeah. Well, dude, really?
What is it, like a 0.05 fucking % or some shit? Maybe
Dropping your kid on their head can cause mental
Retardation.
problems.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
stop smoking meth when you're pregnant.
No
I mean,
shit.
Yeah, how many alcohol beverages did you consume? Were you a smoker? I mean, there's all these other things that could have
one
problems
person's
too,
genetics and another person's
May
genetics
not be perfect.
may not be
Yep.
right, and it causes autism.
Well, these people are idiots. Like,
I
you
know.
know, I mean,
And, like, I'm sorry, but just because some fucking celebrity comes out and goes, I don't do that, it's unnatural. You gotta do what's best for your kid, not what's best for your fucking social media sites.
no doubt.
Well, if you want to go for what's natural, and then if you go back to when we were barbarians,
It was
cavemen,
natural.
to die at 33, 34.
It was
I'm
natural.
an old man compared to that, you know?
Exactly.
If
yeah.
we're gonna do what's natural, your kid gets sick, you hit it on the head with a rock so the rest of the family don't get sick.
Throw them over the cliff. All right, try again. I mean, Sparta, right? Ancient Sparta used to freaking defected kid.
Yeah.
Throw them out. Terrible. Not saying that's what we should do.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible,
But if you
but-
wanted to go the natural way of things, that was almost as natural as you could get.
It was Darwinism as fuck. Like, if you weren't strong enough to survive, you were,
I want my
cast
kids to
away,
be
tossed
strong
the
to
fucking-
survive, so I vaccinate the shit out of them
Well,
kids.
yeah, we're in a civilized society, you know, so.
Nobody's getting hit with a rock except for somebody else fucking
Yeah.
with my kids.
Well, it seems like we're regressing, though, because people aren't believing in science and their vaccinations now. So who
oh,
knows what-
and the fucking flat earthers.
No, God. Really? It's 2018, people.
I want to meet one of those people in person.
I've never
Really?
met them. Do they even really exist?
I work with one.
If you're
Really?
Yeah.
oh man, if you're
I don't
a flat
even engage
earther,
it.
if you really believe that the Earth is flat, please message us Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We promise. We just want to talk to you.
Yes.
Nothing bad will happen. We just want to talk to you.
We have a series of questions.
We
about
have
your
a
mental
serious-
psyche.
Series
I
of
just want to
serious
know
questions.
how you came to that conclusion.
And what books you're reading.
Yes.
We need to know what books you're reading.
And where did you go to school?
Yes, or didn't go to school. Anyway, so, all right. To the topic we covered earlier. The zombie apocalypse. All right? 5 scientific reasons
It could happen.
that the zombie apocalypse could actually happen. Okay?
Give 'em.
Ready? Science. Brain parasites. Parasites that turn victims into mindless zombie-like slaves is actually fairly common in nature. There's one called, and I'm going to butcher the fuck out of this, Toxoplasmosa gondii. This bug infects rats. So I read about this. So this
What is it with rats? Bubonic plague, this? I mean,
well,
rats
wait,
are bad.
Wait, this is like the most fucked up cycle I've ever seen.
All right, go on.
It's almost as fucked up as rabies. So this bug loves rats, but it can only gestate and survive inside cats' intestines. So this bug takes over a rat's brain, causes it to go insane. The rats run at the cats eat the rats, and the disease further fucking develops inside the cat's digestive system.
And what happens with the cat? Like,
Then the cat is sick.
does it?
It vomits or shits. The more rats get infected, and the cycle continues.
Does the cat die? Does the cat like run at a dog and like?
No, it's only in their. That's just like the breeding ground.
Okay.
Kind of like how like the stagnant water is where mosquitoes, whatever. It's just the breeding ground. The cats vomit. The cats shit. More rats get infected. The fucking bug feeds off of them. As the bug starts to die, it's like, fucking send this rat. Mind control, man. Add a cat. It runs to a cat. The cat eats it, and the cycle continues, man. It's fucking crazy. So, I mean, that sounds pretty, and it's very common. And this sounds pretty fucking zombie-ish to me.
All right, what else? What's next?
So, neurotoxins. There are poisons that can slow your body functions to the point where you're considered dead. We're talking about that good old Japanese blowfish. So that can cause trance-like states where you will have no memory and still have the ability to perform simple tasks like eating, sleeping, moaning, and shambling around with your arms outstretched.
Keeping their balance.
Yep. So, neurotoxins, Japanese blowfish equals zombies.
I mean, zombie came from Caribbean islands, voodoo stuff. I mean, it's a direct translation from that culture. And they used to use those toxins
in Haiti and shit. They still use toxins like that to do zombified states.
Totally makes sense.
So
what can you make that zombie do, though? I mean, that's the thing. Can you control them?
Do you remember in the movie Quarantine? Because again, we can't fucking stop. Where it was rabies that caused them to go batshit crazy.
Yep.
So that's real, but it's not rabies. Because once you start to show symptoms of rabies, it's 100% fatal. But there's actually a real rage virus. It's actually mad cow disease. People can get mad cow disease, and it causes a change in their gait and how they walk, hallucinations, lack of coordination, muscle twitching, myoclonic jerks or seizures, rapidly developing delirium and dementia, and then all of a sudden, you got a fucking mindless walking ass zombie.
Yep. And mad cow disease that's some bad stuff. I mean, I can't remember, there's a time frame if you lived in England or visited England, you cannot donate blood ever again because there's a potential you may have ate meat that was contaminated with mad cow disease. So, I mean, I don't remember what the dates are, so I apologize for that. But, I mean, that was like the reaction to keep it from ever spreading because blood transfusions couldn't be a way it can spread. I mean, I remember it was like 8 years ago when I was still working in the meat business. Like 200 head of cattle in Canada all tested positive. No, one head of cattle and amongst 200 head of cattle tested positive for mad cow disease, and they had to slaughter all of them and just destroyed the meat because they were not going to risk getting any other cattle sick. And Japan put a temporary embargo out there saying we are not buying cattle from this area because we don't want it in Japan. So, I mean, that's a very serious threat. And the guess was that it came from them being in their own filth, but no one really knows how it came up. It's a degenerative brain disease, kind of like Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So neurogenesis. This is basically part of stem cell research. So they were trying to use stem cells to reanimate the dead brain. Okay. So the problem with this is that during the reanimation process, it causes the brain to die from the outside in. The outside being the cortex, the nice part that makes you human.
Civilized. Yeah.
So that just leaves the part that controls basic motor function and primitive instincts. So if they can only sorta reanimate a dead brain, you've got a zombie from stem cell research. And all it takes is one guy to be like, so today we're going to try and reanimate this guy. And then it's fucking 28 days later. The last one, nanobots. So nanobots is a technology that science apparently engineered to make you terrified of the future. I love this article. Microscopic self-replicating robots that can invisibly build or destroy everything. Vast sums of money is being poured into nanotechnology. Scientists have already created a nano cyborg. Fuck, I need that in my fucking life. by fusing a tiny silicone chip to a virus. Awesome. The first thing they found out was these cyborgs can still operate for up to a month after the death of the host. According to studies, within a decade, they'll have nanobots that can crawl inside of your brain and set up neural connections to replace damaged ones. That's right. The nanobots will be able to rewire your thoughts. What could possibly go wrong? Someday there will be nanobots in your brain. So basically what they're saying is that this becomes a problem because they put nanobots in you to keep you alive. But then you die. The nanobots are programmed to stay alive. So they move from one person to the next, just keeping the body alive. So you got a bunch of people that die, and they just move from one brain to the next. And then they self-replicate. And then one brain to the next, and they self-replicate. And they rewire your brain.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to, of course, be a risk. But, I mean, the idea of nanobots is the medical solutions it would bring about. I mean, surgery would be almost obsolete now. You can send nanobots in your body to find and tear down the cancer cells and that sort of thing. And there's going to be countermeasures they put in place where after such and such time they can be deactivated and shut down, and they're just like dead cells or whatever. So there's a lot of good there, too. It's just scary that somebody's already thinking that there's a lot of bad, which I'm glad they're doing because, you know, they're thinking both sides. They need to think about
this shit. Because here's my thing. I think, and this, I'm not a scientist or anything, if they're going to develop nanobots and they don't want them to move from host to host, that's what they call it, to stay alive, that if okay, let's say they implant nanobots into me because I have acute kidney failure, okay? It needs to be set up to my DNA. So if the nanobots try and survive in another host, they die. Plain and simple, we all don't get turned into zombies by nanobots.
I hope not.
I mean, that would fucking suck. But really, your chances of dying, the whole world going tits up, is actually not that bad. So the overall probability of human extinction before 2100, so 2100, the overall probability of human extinction is 19%. That's still a little high for me.
1 in 5 odds.
That's still a little high for me.
I'll be dead by then, so.
I mean, yeah.
I'll be 116, I think. So, yeah, I'll be 116 then.
I mean, but still, like, people make it to almost that now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, 19% just seems a little steep, but there's the nanotechnology weapons. There's only a 5% chance that will end all humanity. Super intelligent AI, 5%. All wars, including civil wars, 4%. Engineered pandemic, 2%. Nuclear wars, 1%. A nanotechnology accident, 0.5%. A natural pandemic, 0.05%, and nuclear terrorism is 0.03%.
Yeah, I don't really got those numbers, but nuclear terrorism I think should be higher. I definitely think the all wars, excluding the nuclear wars, should be higher. I definitely think AI should be a whole lot higher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're taking a whole from the 19%.
Of that 19%?
Yes, of that 19%,
okay.
Those are the highest rates of what it will be that will cause a human extinction event. I think it's fairly right.
They think the molecular nanotechnology weapons will be higher. I disagree
molecular nanotechnology. It's an easy delivery system. Like with
in a movie.
I mean, but yeah, but
I mean, hell, they can't even keep cars powered. I mean, electric car, you got to charge it every night. How a freaking little robot's going to stay charged? My freaking cell phone dies in 8 hours. I mean, if that thing can live forever as a little nano robot, why can't my phone never need to be charged again?
I mean, that is true.
I mean, whoever's coming up with that, hey, get with Apple, figure out why my battery doesn't last longer, all right? I mean, I'm at 22%. Now, my little boy was on YouTube this morning, but 22%. That robot can jump from host to host and replicate. Why can't my battery self-replicate some more energy so I don't have to worry about charging it?
Agreed. Fuck nuclear war. Let's figure out the cell phone bullshit. So, since we're always talking about movies, let's talk about our favorite in-game movies. So, robots take over. AI. Favorite movies. Go. Bert.
Terminator.
Terminator.
I'm also Terminator. It's unanimous. Fuck Skynet.
Software, baby. It's going to get us.
All right. Alien invasion. Bert.
Attack of the Body Snatchers, Revenge of the Body Snatchers, whatever it was. Body Snatchers.
Invasion of the Body
Invasion,
Snatchers.
thank you.
You're welcome. Brad.
Independence Day.
I'm Invaders from Mars, the 1986 version. Zombie Apocalypse. Bert.
Shaun of the Dead.
Brad.
Dawn of the Dead.
I'm Shaun of the Dead too. Woohoo! It's funny.
It's funny, but I could totally see that. I mean, there's going to be some poor, maybe an American, maybe a British guy, be completely oblivious to the apocalypse happening around him when he goes to the store to get a bite.
I mean, that probably won't be me, but I can hand pick motherfuckers. We'll be like 6 weeks into this, and they still have no idea.
Yep.
Like, I know people. Brad, why Dawn? Why Dawn of the Dead?
It's just my favorite zombie movie.
All right, nuclear holocaust situation. Bert.
I'm going to go with the video game Fallout.
Agreed. It's a great video game. Might as well be a movie. I think they try and make movies on YouTube.
Yes.
If anybody is a Fallout fan, go on YouTube, look up the Fallout movie, and check out the rad roaches. They're the shit. Brad, nuclear.
Man, mine's post-nuclear, Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
See, I went Book of Eli.
Another good one.
Because it's just straight up solid fucking movie. All right, natural disaster. Bert.
I'll put The Day After Tomorrow.
I'm with Bert.
Same here. Day After Tomorrow wins. Okay, so not the most awesome movie. Can we all agree? It's not like perfect. But what did it for me was a very accurate representation of like the weather change and what it does to the body and how people would have to hold up and survivors and the process. I thought it was a really good representation of a serious situation that could technically happen during a really fast climate switch.
It just scared me because as fast as it happened.
Yeah, yeah. Because,
the science isn't there for it to be for that to be true, but still, I mean,
but
pretty scary.
We don't know though. That's the scariest part. It could happen that fast.
Sure.
Or, like, we can never see even a temperature shift by 2 degrees in our lifetime.
True.
So, all right. Anything pandemic, virus, chemical? Bert.
The Stand.
Ooh.
28 days later.
Yeah, see, that fucks me up. If we're talking Shaun of the Dead style zombies, fine. But them quick fuckers?
World War Z. Freaking
And
running
28 days later,
Yeah.
they're so fast. I can't.
The quick ones.
My
weird.
fat ass is done. If they're that fast, I'm done. Like, because rule number 1 in Zombieland? Cardio. Right? I've been working on it, but I ain't there yet if we're talking 28 days later.
Nope.
All right.
Mine.
Asteroid. Bert.
It's got to go like Armageddon, I hope.
I'm with Bert.
I mean, the world didn't end, but it could have ended. I mean, I admit, it wouldn't be a very good movie if the asteroid would have hit and everybody would have died.
And then the movie just cuts off and you're like, fuck, we're all dead.
I don't know. They did that with The Sopranos, so I mean.
Just,
Maybe it will be a good movie then. Hollywood, try that.
we'll try this. Black screen, fuck, we're all dead.
Yeah. The end.
Don't even roll credits. Do all the credits at the beginning, like they used to in the old movies.
I didn't join the bandwagon on this one. My favorite movie that involves us all going tits up because an asteroid did kind of end with all of us dying. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
Very cute movie.
That was fucking amazing.
Never seen it.
Oh
Steve
my
Carell
god.
and
Natalie Portman?
no,
No. Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley.
It-
It's
like-
a love story, but it's cute.
But it's also an end of the world story. Man, it's emotional. It's adorable as fuck. I love Steve Carell in it. I mean, it's just a great movie. If you haven't seen Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, I highly recommend it. So, worst Armageddon style, like, end of the world movie ever. Bert.
M. Night Shyamalan, The Happening, was terrible.
Brad.
I had a hard time. I couldn't figure it out. I passed.
I also went with The Happening.
It's the plants.
My-
It's the plants.
The second worst one, Waterworld.
I liked Waterworld.
I did too.
I liked Waterworld.
Yeah.
I mean, it had some bad parts to it, but global flooding. Yeah, I thought.
Well, I mean,
I thought the story was really good.
I don't know. It just seemed It was cheesy to me. It was like, so what seemed cheesy to me the most was they were like, I just saw, like, in my mind, somebody walking into, like, some fucking movie producer and, like, picture it. Mad Max! All fucking water, not desert.
I think at the time it was like one of the biggest budgets ever for.
It was over $100 million.
Yeah.
It was the most expensive movie for like a year or something.
Yeah,
because that island thing they built was like outrageous. So, and it was a flop. It did not do well in theaters at all.
I didn't mind it. I'm a bird on this one.
I'd watch it if it was on right now. I'd totally be in there watching.
I would not.
Too.
I would not.
I did not mind it.
All right, we have to do honorable mentions because there's always one that we want to squeak in there.
I got 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Sorry, I've got 4. So first one, just because it's with the alien theme a little bit, but They Live.
Okay.
Escape from L.A.
Great.
Because that was something we didn't talk about. Like, what happens is all the power went out. The power grid was gone. How would that affect the world? I think that'd screw everybody over because nobody could look at their cell phone anymore or anything else. So, Escape from L.A. But the two that really deserve to be on that, both post-apocalyptic. So the apocalypse has already happened. These are remnant survivors. This is The Road with Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, that's emotional
Great movie.
shit. Sometimes I can't watch it if I'm an emotional state.
And then what some people call The Water World on Land, The Postman. Another Kevin Costner
Dude,
flick.
The Postman is a shit, though.
Great movie. Those two movies, they're better than the other two. The other two were good as well. But those two, they're post-apocalyptic. What's society look like? And those two right there, and they feel the most real to me. You're going to get some guy that's on a friggin' power trip or a group of people that, you know what, I want meat, and I don't care if it's that 3-year-old kid or if it's that family of 4 over there. I'm going to have me some human burgers or something. I mean, I could see that.
The Road is intense.
I've seen it. It's been a while.
Brad, what's your honorable mention?
I was thinking, because you had brought up Rapture, and I was kind of got the wheels turning. It'd have to be Dogma. Kevin Smith.
Yeah! I never even thought about Dogma!
I didn't either till we got into it. I'm like, damn it, yeah, shit.
Woohoo! Dogma's great, though. It is.
It's pretty funny.
I totally forgot about shit. I'm going to have to watch that today, but my honorable mention is Children of Men.
That's a good one. Clive Owen.
So in this, it's
Julianne
basically
Moore.
infertility that destroys the world because we can't procreate.
Can't reproduce.
So, like, and then this chick ends up...
Gets pregnant.
And they're like, what the fuck? And, like, shit just breaks out. But the whole thing is, that's, like, really believable for me because, like...
Well, infertility is a real problem. A lot of people can't have kids.
So I have hypothyroidism, all right? And that causes you to be generally infertile. I have 2 kids, but some women I know struggle for decades and maybe have a kid, most likely not. So they think that the reason why they're like hypothyroidism is so big nowadays is when the government started regulating our food and stuff and they told everybody to stop putting iodine in bread. And because as with hypothyroidism, you can't absorb iodine into the system and it fucks with your system. You develop PCOS and all this other bullshit that fucks with your uterus and everything, and then you can't get pregnant. So, and that's because they're like, don't put this in bread anymore. The more they fuck with our food, and the more the cancer and the bullshit and everything, and then the bullshit that they're putting into our shower curtains and our candles and everything else, eventually, a lot more bitches ain't gonna be able to get knocked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a real problem that could happen. I mean, you see it with a small group now, it could definitely increase.
A small group?
Well, I mean, I'm saying it's not global. I mean, but it definitely, something could happen. So
Yeah, I'm lucky I got 2 kids because, yeah,
lucky.
everybody else be struggling. But, yeah, anybody got anything else to say about the end of the world? How would you survive?
I'm going to camp out at Home Depot. That's going to be my base. Get all plywood to board up the windows. I'll live on the candy bars for a while. And I'll shoot off the stray animals when I run out of food.
I'll never be able to get you away from Home Depot ever again. Brad, what are you doing?
I just killed myself.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Obviously, I'll be at Home Depot with Robert because he ain't going out without me. Good old Birdie Poo, Pookie bitch, ain't going out without me. Well, yeah, we're a Home Depot family. Fuck Lowe's. We'll war with Lowe's.
Lowe's is the Walmart.
Yeah.
Hardware stores.
We're going to war with Lowe's when this shit goes down.
Unless you want to be a sponsor, Lowe's, then by all means, we'll come to Lowe's instead.
What do you think would be the best case scenario?
What, post-apocalyptic, how to survive?
Yeah. Best case. What could happen as an end result that would be best case scenario for you to survive?
I don't know. That one's a tricky one. I mean, if you talk to these people who think they're experts, you know, they've never lived through a post-apocalyptic.
Well, none of us
They
have.
talk about building a community afterwards. And if you, once again, back to movie science, you see the ones where they try to establish a community and some structure and everything. As a race, we need that. I mean, I'm not saying we need people that are in charge or bosses, and we're not like a beehive.
But we need
queen
other
bee.
people.
But we need other people so we can all utilize our talents. Because not everybody's great at everything, but somebody's probably really good at something. And we're going back to basics. I mean, it's going to be Dark Ages stuff again. You're going to have like a blacksmith making tools. You're going to have a farmer. You're going to have people that are going out to hunt. You're going to have people that are going to have to keep other people in
So which
check.
one do you think would cause there to be the most community? So we're talking a good chunk of survivors.
I mean, your best bet for people surviving is going to be if just the electrical grid goes crap. Because the people who are there are going to be either they're going to survive or they're just going to die off. And the people with a little bit of will, I mean, look at our society now. You got people trying to go back more of how things used to be. So they'll be the folks who survive, the homesteaders, the people that are DIYers and that sort of thing.
Brad?
They'll do it.
What do you like? Well, unless you just decide to take your own life and say fuck it.
Well, if like everyone died around me and I had like a few dogs, and I was just I'm not gonna struggle. Fuck it. But if I got a nice little setup with a few dogs, I'd be
So
good
what would
to
be
go.
the best case scenario?
Have you guys ever been to Hocking Hills?
Yeah.
Old Man's Cave. The story about the
Are
old
you
man.
going to go in there?
He lived up there with his dog. That sounds excellent.
So you don't care how everybody goes down as long as you can get to a hill with a couple of dogs.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll ride out in the sunset by myself and my pups.
I gotta say, best case scenario for me, and this is gonna sound morbid, but stay with me. So I gotta go into the end of the fucking world with 2 kids. Alright? If it's zombies, if it's anything, I'm gonna be in a daily fucking battle with my children to survive. It would be my own personal Armageddon for my children to get hurt. So I'm gonna say best case scenario, a world-ending fucking asteroid. We all get to go together. We don't have to starve. We don't have to try and survive. I don't have to sacrifice my life for my kids and then worry about them trying to do it on their own. Just we all get to huddle and fucking boom, it's over.
Yeah, that's why, like, if I survive the blast, I just shoot myself. I mean, like, why struggle?
I mean,
like,
I get it though. Like, if it was like a zombie thing, like that would be worst case scenario if you're going into this with fucking kids. But like if the grid goes down, if we're talking a pandemic, but you're immune, you can still survive. But if you got to deal with radiation and disease and shit, that's
Yeah, fuck it.
agreed to a level. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today as we talk about some fairly depressing shit where we all fucking die in a fiery, horrible death.
Going out on a high note.
Or with blisters and pus and bleeding and eating zombies and whatnot. But thanks for joining us. If you would like to, tell us how you would plan to survive the apocalypse. Or if you already are, if you're a doomsday prepper, what you believe in. And again, flat earthers. We'd love to hear from you too. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Everything is Pody Mouths, PODY, 1D. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody want to say bye?
See you guys.
Peace.
Good night.